Breaking news from around your world on this Monday, May 13th, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. The United Nations Relief Agency said Monday it's concerned more than 1 million Palestinians in Gaza might starve if advocates can't raise $60 million in food money by next month. The UN Relief and Works Agency said half of Gaza's population depends on food aid from international donations, and 620,000 are living in abject poverty. In the year 2000, that figure was fewer than 80,000. The agency said many are attempting to survive on less than $2 per day. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has said Israel's air, land, and sea blockades, which intensified in 2007 for security reasons, have locked in Palestinians from the outside world and undermined their living conditions. Israel hoped the blockade would weaken support for Hamas, which it considers a terrorist group, when it took control of Gaza in 2007. A 2017 UN report on the conditions in Gaza predicted the region, with an unemployment rate of 53%, would become uninhabitable by 2020. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un's relations with China and Russia may have hit a stumbling block following his return from Vladivostok, where he met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in April. High-profile defector Thae Yong-ho, the former North Korean diplomat who fled Pyongyang's embassy in London in 2016, told South Korean newspaper Seoul Shinmun that Kim and Putin agreed to work together for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Thae said Kim's multiple tests of missiles in May are a demonstration of Kim's displeasure with the outcome of the summit in Russia. Putin had said at the summit he supports denuclearization efforts and did not show his support for North Korea's nuclear weapons development. China, North Korea's most important partner, is also showing signs of hesitation to engage further with North Korea. The defector said his findings are based on a week's worth of analysis on various North Korean state media. Thae said Kim may also be frustrated with the tepid response from President Donald Trump and South Korean President Moon Jae-in in response to North Korea's provocative behavior. China said on Monday it's imposing higher tariffs on a range of U.S. goods, including frozen vegetables and liquefied natural gas, striking back in its trade war with Washington after President Trump warned it not to. U.S. stock markets fell by more than 2% Monday after China announced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, heightening fears of a full-blown trade war between the world's two largest economies that could cripple economic growth globally. China's finance ministry said on Monday it planned to impose tariffs ranging from 5% to 25% on more than 5,100 U.S. products on a target list worth about $60 billion from June 1st, striking back after the U.S. raised duties last week. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow clarified that China does not pay tariffs imposed by the U.S. on billions of dollars of imported goods, but said both sides will suffer. Appearing on Fox News Sunday, Kudlow contradicted a claim Friday by President Trump in which he said $250 billion worth of tariffs on goods are paid by China, after host Chris Wallace noted that the American companies actually pay the tax and often pass it on to consumers. Saudi Arabia said on Monday that 2 of its oil tankers were among those attacked off the coast of the United Arab Emirates and described it as an attempt to undermine the security of crude supplies amid tensions between the United States and Iran. One of the tankers was on its way to pick up Saudi oil bound for the United States. Saudi Arabia says no one was hurt in the attack and no oil was spilled. A U.S. defense official said the U.S. military was assisting in the investigation at the request of the UAE government. Iran, which is embroiled in an escalating war of words with the United States over sanctions and the U.S. military's presence in the region, moved to distance itself on Monday. Iran's foreign ministry called the incidents worrisome and dreadful and asked for an investigation into the matter. A senior Iranian lawmaker said saboteurs from a third country could be behind it, after saying on Sunday the incident showed the security of Gulf states was fragile. Britain warned Monday that armed conflict might be sparked by accident amid those rising tensions between the U.S. and Iran, as U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo held talks with officials from European powers that are racing to salvage a nuclear deal with the Islamic Republic. Britain's Foreign Secretary offered the warning following the attacks on Saudi Arabian oil tankers Sunday. Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt told reporters in Brussels, "We are very worried about a risk of conflict happening by accident, with an escalation that is unintended really on either side, but ends with some kind of conflict." Pompeo, who met individually with the ministers but not in a joint setting, did not speak to reporters as he was entering or leaving EU headquarters. He is traveling on to Russia Tuesday and is set to meet with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Sochi. Swedish prosecutors announced Monday that they would reopen an investigation into a rape allegation against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Swedish authorities had dropped the case in 2017 because they could not bring in Assange for questioning because he had taken refuge in Ecuador's embassy in London. Assange was arrested last month after spending 7 years in the Ecuadorian embassy, so now it will be possible for Sweden to seek his extradition so he can be questioned and the investigation can be concluded. The development could trigger a battle between authorities in Sweden and the U.S., where Assange faces a charge of conspiring to hack into government computers to steal secret documents. Actress Felicity Huffman is scheduled to plead guilty Monday to a conspiracy charge for paying $15,000 to have someone correct her daughter's SAT exam. The actress, who is married to actor William H. Macy, is among 50 parents, coaches, and others accused of participating in a college admissions scandal in which wealthy parents paid for tricks, such as bribes to coaches and entrance exam cheating, to get their children into universities that included Yale, Georgetown, and the University of Southern California. Huffman said in an April statement that her daughter knew absolutely nothing about my actions. California admissions consultant William Singer pleaded guilty in March to facilitating that cheating. Voters went to the polls in the Philippines Monday in midterm elections, seen as a referendum on the country's controversial president, Rodrigo Duterte. Opposition candidates, many of whom consider Duterte a budding dictator, are squaring off against Duterte allies, hoping to dominate the Senate and strengthen Duterte's hand for the remainder of his term. President Duterte's name is not on the ballot, but this is very much a referendum on his 3 years of very disruptive yet very popular presidency, according to Manila-based analyst Richard Hedarian. The key battle is for the 12 available spots in the 24-seat Senate, which serves as a check on Duterte's power. Opinion polls indicate that most of the 15 candidates with a chance to win a seat are Duterte allies, putting him in a strong position to consolidate power. Doris Day, the sunny blonde actress and singer who became one of Hollywood's biggest stars of the 1950s and 60s and a symbol of wholesome American womanhood, died Monday. She was 97. In recent years, Day had been an animal rights advocate, and her Doris Day Animal Foundation confirmed her death at her Carmel Valley, California home. The foundation said she had been in excellent physical health for her age until recently contracting a serious case of pneumonia, resulting in her death. Day was a top box office draw and recording artist known for comedies such as Pillow Talk and That Touch of Mink, as well as songs like Whatever Will Be, or Que Sera Sera, from the Alfred Hitchcock film The Man Who Knew Too Much. Her foundation said she requested no funeral or memorial service and no grave marker. Actress Goldie Hawn tweeted Monday, "The great Doris Day left us and took a piece of the sun with her. She brightened our lives and lived out her life with dignity. May she rest peacefully." And that's your update for this Monday, May 13th, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.